SBN, Sports Business Now. SBN is a division of Row 27, the digital sports marketing company, celebrating 5 years of creating TV spots, intro videos, and microsites for over 150 teams. See our work at row27.com. And by FanMaker, digital marketing tools for sports teams, featuring FanMaker Rewards, the most comprehensive and popular fan loyalty and reward system. Learn more about our apps at fanmaker.com. Sports Marketing Now.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Marketing Now. I'm Holly Koski, and Sports Marketing Now talks about all of the latest news in the marketing side of the sports industry. And we have Craig Pintens of the University of Oregon and Max Huber today. Craig, how are you doing out in Oregon?
I'm doing great. The weather is sunny. It's been sunny for a couple weeks here. We're just waiting for the rain to come, which I'm sure is on its way.
I'm sure it is. Max, how's it going?
Things are good. Not quite as busy as Craig. They've got NCAA championships coming up and baseball, softball games. It makes my life seem a lot less tame, or a lot more tame here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, who knew spring sports would be a crazy time for you, but you being the track school that you are, really don't get a time off, do you?
No, we're looking forward to it. We actually host the NCAA championship. Both our men and women's team both have an outstanding chance to actually win it. The women have a chance to make history. No team in the history of NCAA Division I on the women's side has ever won cross-country, indoor, and outdoor in the same year.
Oh, really?
So they have a chance to do that. They just came off their 5th straight Pac-12 championship. The men's team just won their 7th straight Pac-12 championship, and the men have been performing at a pretty high level. So it's going to be very interesting, and it'll be hosted at historic Hayward Field, which is unrivaled in the track world as far as a venue. So we're pretty excited, and softball and baseball are competing at a high level. The infomercial for Oregon is now done. You may resume with regularly scheduled programming.
Well, I mean, it's not like you have some roots in the track and field community at all. So
I don't personally, but yeah, we do. Yeah,
I was kidding.
As a university, we certainly do.
Yeah, definitely kidding on that. But, some news out in your neck of the woods in terms of San Francisco 49ers finally securing their naming rights partner for their new stadium. And it's Levi Strauss, the jean company. And it is a 20-year, $220 million deal. It's going to be called Levi's Stadium. And it's not really a traditional deal, as you don't really see a clothing sponsor as a naming rights partner for a major stadium. And, they just put up their bid for the 50th Super Bowl. It's supposed to be a marvel of a stadium. But, a lot of people thought it was the wrong move, considering San Francisco is such a tech industry. Craig, do you think this was a good move in terms of this partnership here?
It's a great move. If somebody wants to pay you that kind of money, that is the most important part of the whole deal. And obviously, none of the tech firms were willing to outpay what Levi's did, or it would be called something else. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're talking about naming rights, money is always going to trump everything, unless there's some unique features of the deal. And in maybe this case, I don't know if everybody's getting a free pair of Levi's or whatnot. But my only hope is that they actually go really old school with their logo, and they have the shot of the two horses trying to pull apart the jeans. If they could somehow recreate that on top of the stadium, you'd be onto something.
That'd be pretty cool. Max, what are your thoughts?
I like it. Like Craig said, money's money. Money talks. So if you can get somebody to sign that much for naming rights, I like the fact that they got a San Francisco-based company to be the sponsor. And, it's not the first time a clothing brand has been a major sponsor like this. Izod is the main sponsor for IndyCar Series.
Good point.
But when that one first came out, I was like, Izod IndyCar. Didn't really get it.
See the correlation.
Yeah,
right.
But obviously they're happy with it having the naming rights on that. So good for Levi's. Hopefully I think they're trying to make a brand resurgence here. Hopefully this will help maybe put them into fashion. But yeah, I like Craig said, money talks, and it's a huge deal for the Niners.
Definitely, and trying to again make that brand a little more hip with the times. Like I said, it's supposed to be a technology just wonder as far as Wi-Fi and capabilities and everything like that. So kind of associating with definitely a current and exciting brand, I think is a really good move for Levi's as well. And not going with a tech company. A lot of tech companies don't really think 20 years out. They might get a panic attack if they committed that much money for 20 years, and they might avoid an Enron Field type of scandal. So
well, and even it is tough to keep up with the names of different stadiums, and I've always argued, in fact I think I've said it on this show before, you're always best to be the first name on a stadium. And I've used the example of Mile High. Everybody still calls it Mile High, and it was Invesco Field. I'm not sure what it is now.
Sports Authority.
But I know it is Invesco Field and Mile High. And Levi's definitely seems to have that kind of staying power, and being a local San Francisco business just makes a lot of sense.
One of the interesting things, I mean, you've seen Wrangler with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and with Brett Favre, and now Levi's just says, you know what, to hell with it. We're not just going to sponsor one player. We're going to sponsor an entire stadium, an entire team. So I think they're really trying to push the whole jeans issue, and they're going to try to take the bull by the horns and be the leader.
Wrangler just added Drew Brees as well.
Yeah, that's true. So the Gene Wars.
Gene Wars. And now moving on to baseball. The Miami Marlins, we talked about them last week. They always seem to be in the news, but not for the right reasons, unfortunately. They're looking to close the upper bowl of their new stadium for some weekday games, just because attendance has dipped to around 20,000, which is down from 27,000 last year. And, by closing off the upper bowl, it'll cut down attendance by 10,000 people. So, is this the right move? Or if you were, in marketing for the Marlins, what would you do to bring fans into the park, considering their stadium woes? A lot of people are not excited or happy with the franchise at the moment. So, Craig, we will throw it to you first.
Well, I think that's a very tough situation. I think if I worked for the Miami Marlins, I'd be very depressed about trying to get people out to the stadium, because they have a lot of factors working against them. And in a situation like that, you kind of have to take a look at yourself as an organization. And unfortunately, a lot of times it has a lot to do with the ownership change. That might be what is going to make it possible for people to come back, because under the current ownership, there's a lot of people that fans of the team that are not real happy. And at this time, with the Miami Heat doing so well,
right,
that isn't often talked about when you're in a pro market, because there's only a certain number of disposable dollars that are available, whether it's from a corporate sponsorship standpoint, from a fan standpoint. And with the run that the Heat have been on and will be on in the future years, that's taking a lot of disposable income, and it probably has become a complete Miami Heat town. It probably was a Dolphins town at one point. Miami just hasn't been real supportive of pro teams in general. So it's a tough market, and I think all those factors and the fact that the Marlins will make a run and then sell all the parts to the team,
right, has
really made it difficult for fans to be a big part of that.
Do you think, just as far as closing off some of the stadium, is that a right move, just to make it seem a little more intimate and filled?
I think it's the right move. I mean,
okay,
if you don't have demand for your product, you need to create demand.
Right.
And one way to create demand is to decrease your amount of seating. We do it here for women's basketball. We curtain off the entire upper level, create some more intimate setting, and it also gives us a more realistic number to shoot for when we're trying to sell it out. Now, we're also, and we play in a brand new arena. Our primary tenant is obviously men's basketball. Women's basketball would be a secondary tenant in the building, just from an attendance standpoint, not from a gender equity standpoint, obviously, but from an attendance standpoint.
Right.
So it is an interesting strategy. Hopefully it works, but the thing you can't do is hit the panic button and all of a sudden you have $5 tickets every night, because you're not going to ever generate any revenue, and long term you're not going to be able to bring anybody into the stadium.
I like the move. If you look at Marlins Park sometimes on TV, it just looks ridiculous with how many open seats there are. They've never blown off the doors based on attendance. Their first year they were great, and when they, like Craig said, when they go on the World Series runs, which is every few years before they sell the team off, they have to do something. I went to a game in Manitoba, the Manitoba Moose in Winnipeg, and they would rope off, or actually they covered up the seats in the upper arena, and so you almost just forgot about them.
Right,
you didn't even notice that they were there, and it just looked like a black wall. So it made it, like Craig and you both said, more intimate. It gave you a feel that every seat that was available was filled in the lower bowl. They do this in NASCAR, where they'll cover up for nationwide races. They'll cover up a number of seats, because they know they're not going to be able to sell them, and they want to give the illusion that those seats aren't even available. So put up sponsorship if you can. I think it's a good move for them. Obviously, they need to do something to try to bring in some attendance. Whether I don't know what the solution is for them with everything that there is to do in Miami.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not going to go spend my time at a Marlins baseball game when they're not a very good team. They might not have the best atmosphere there. So.
Yeah, this is not new, obviously, in sports to cover seating. I know the Oakland A's did this actually during their playoff run this past season. But, like Craig, what you said is they're going to need to make revenue at some point. And so it'll be interesting to see how much this affects their bottom line, or if it, increases it, just because people feel that they can still get a good value for, sitting close to the game. So interesting move. And then coming up to our neck of the woods with the Minnesota Twins, staying in baseball here, and they're doing something kind of fun. They're having a promotion night where they're celebrating the 20th anniversary of The Sandlot, which is one of my favorite movies. And basically they have a day game during the day, May 19th, against the Red Sox. And then they'll be showing the movie on the Jumbotron after the game. So fans can stick around and, continue to buy concessions and watch a movie, especially, a fun family movie. But, I feel like a lot of teams can take advantage of certain pop culture events or, their facilities to really bring in that extra revenue, whether the team's, on a long 10-day road trip, that stadium or facility is sometimes going unused. So I guess, we can ask you, Craig, to see if, you guys do anything at Oregon to kind of play off like a pop culture event, like say, having a red carpet event around like the Oscars or something like that.
We haven't actually done it with anything outside. We have done it with some of our internal events. When our volleyball team was on a run in the NCAA tournament and they played in the national championship game, we also had a basketball game going on at the same time. So we would leave the arena open and you could watch volleyball after that.
Yeah.
I think that the promotion by the Twins makes a lot of sense, but you also have to understand that you're talking about a pretty limited demographic when you target a specific movie, because for somebody that's my age, The Sandlot, if it's 20th anniversary, I was in high school at the time, really didn't have an interest in watching a
You didn't have an interest in Sandlot?
Not, what it's not. I'm too old.
I know. I'm kidding.
Because it's a kids movie. It's kind of like for me, Major League would be the movie that I would want to see from a baseball perspective after the game.
Right.
So I think you're going to capture, and if you think about it, 20 years, the movie at the time was probably popular with kids 13 and under, maybe, I would say. So any kid that is 13 and under, which would now make them 33 and under, which means I'm older than 33. Anybody 33 and under, I think it's a very targeted demographic. specific to those people. And I think for some of those people, it's going to be a pretty appealing day. But baseball teams, minor league teams, have been doing this for years, and it's great to see some of the major league teams take some of the great ideas that happen in minor league baseball, because minor league baseball, minor league sports in general, they know how to get people into the arena, the stadium, because that's what their livelihood depends on. And whether it's autograph sessions or a movie night or a Boy Scout night or a church night or whatever it might be, minor league baseball has a market cornered on great promotions. It's what they do. They have so many home dates that they need to fill. And I spent a summer in minor league baseball and can certainly attest to the importance of having the most random and great ideas that you can possibly have.
Craig is preaching to the choir, having spent the last season with the St. Paul Saints minor league baseball team. It was Boy Scout night. It was food truck rally night. Anything that you could think of. We tried to put together a few movie nights as well. The weather didn't cooperate. So it's
that's a big, always big issue.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues being outdoor like this. But you have this facility and you're away from it at least half the year, being on the road and then just not having games at those times. So why not try to find a way to have something there? Target Field has done. They've done cancer walks and everything around there. So It's nice to see them utilizing the technology that they have there as well, using the gigantic video boards that they have and putting them to good use. They held their first concert last year, doing that again this season. So more teams should be doing this. It's the non-traditional revenue, finding ways to bring acts and events in to keep the money going, keep your team and facility relevant, even if the team's on the road or not off season.
Huber, are we a Sandlot fan?
I like Sandlot. It was kind of in my wheelhouse. I was not as old as Craig at that time, but very big fan of the movie. I don't know if it would entice me to buy a ticket just to go to the game to see the movie afterwards. But for some people it might, and it's a nice add-on to that game. It's like buy the ticket, go to the game, get the movie as well.
Yeah, I think it's cool because people are already there, so you don't have to get people to come back or anything like that. So, but yeah, very good point about minor league baseball is our kings at this, and creativity is definitely one of their strong points. And now finally to our last topic with the Charlotte Motor Speedway, kind of doing another creative initiative as they just kind of did the Speedway Superstar Tour, which is a program that, they went to 10 different cities to select singers of the national anthem and God Bless America during, for the Sprint All-Star race and the Coca-Cola 600, which is next weekend. And, the idea behind it is to collect videos of, auditions and, have them share those videos with their friends on Facebook, Twitter, any social media. And then obviously, people would have to come back and vote on the Charlotte Motor Speedway's website, therefore generating, a lot of unique impressions and traffic to the website. So Craig, what do you think about this kind of unique social media marketing tactic?
I think it's great. I think that anytime you can generate interest in your brand through a non-traditional means, but something that you're already doing anyway or you have to fill spots for, almost every team out there, if you're doing it right, has a national anthem audition of some sort anyway. This is just a unique spin on it and a great way to generate interest. It reminds me of an idea we had a number of years ago for public address announcer auditions.
Okay.
And we did the same kind of thing where we actually had an online contest and uploaded, you could upload your rendition of the starting lineup and everything else online. And those type of things are very popular with people because it's one of those things, if you are good at singing, it's something that you always have wanted to do, whatever your favorite venue is.
Right.
Your dream is probably to sing the national anthem. Very similar to public address announcing. A lot of people think they can do it. It's very interesting, as is national anthem auditions, to have people that think they're good at something try it, because sometimes they're not as good as they think they are, which is I guess in a bad way makes me a bad person entertaining. But I guess that's also why people watch American Idol. They watch it to see some of the William Hungs of the world do a poor job.
Maybe that's the next, promotion, bad national anthem singers night. Even though it'll be a little disrespectful to the country, but
maybe we do a different song.
No marketing person, speaking from experience, wants a bad anthem singer because
Oh, absolutely not.
When you have the AD walk up to you afterwards and he grabs you by the collar and is like, "What the heck was that?" You're just like, "Oh my god!"
All right, maybe the 7th inning stretch.
Okay, perfect.
But the Cubs do that already with celebrities, celebrity singers.
Speaking on what Craig brought up with the public address announcer tryout, having gone through that to get a number of positions that I had when I was at the University of North Dakota, whether it was as on-ice guy or for men's and women's basketball announcer, I enjoyed that. It was this was before YouTube and everything got really big, so we just submitted an audio clip, and I think it was a one-page paper of why we should be the public address announcer. Then we had live tryouts at a bar. Then we had live tryouts in front of the coaches and administrators at the arena. And it just provides that extra opportunity where you get to not only, it's your favorite team and you get to partake in it and you get to actually have a chance to not just be a fan, but to actually be involved with that program when so many people might not ever have that opportunity in their lives before. Being a NASCAR person, I like this because most of the time when they go up there for God Bless America or the national anthem, for a lot of these races, it's somebody that you've never heard of anyway. It's a small-time singer that their label's trying to get them exposure, so why not blow it out of the water and give somebody an opportunity that they were never going to have. They're not signed to a label, and maybe this person's the next big thing. But it gives fans, it gives users a whole new perspective and a whole new chance to interact with the event.
Yeah, and obviously, this Facebook fed 24,000 visitors a day to, Charlotte Motor Speedway's microsite that they created. So, that's just more eyes, more potential ticket sales revenue just from, asking someone to vote for their friend or something like that. So, Max, we're waiting for the PA voice to come on the show because it is pretty epic, must I say.
One of these days. Not
today.
Not today.
I do a pretty mean impression of our current PA public address announcer here at Oregon. He's been here since the stadium opened in 1967.
Ooh. Wow.
So he's been doing it for a number of years.
Football or?
Football. He's also been our basketball announcer for that long as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now Indiana, Chuck Crabb, Indiana basketball has been the same since the Bobby Knight eras, and he's a mainstay.
I think what I'm going to have to do is at NACMA, I'm going to have to buy Craig a few beers, and then we'll entice it out of him.
I can do it right now if you want me to.
Go for it.
It never rains at Autzen Stadium. This is Don Essig, your public address announcer for the Oregon Ducks.
That's awesome.
Yes.
How old is he?
Yeah.
Well, Don is...
He's not a young duck.
He started in 1967.
Jeez. Okay.
So you could do the math there. He was certainly not... He didn't start as a young pup when he was started in 1967. So Don is probably I would say, being very generous, he's probably in his late 70s, early 80s.
Nice. Well, I not having heard it from what I have in my head, hit it spot on.
It never rains. I like that. Well, thank you, Craig, for joining us on the show today. Thank you, Max, for filling in. And thank you for joining us. You can find us anytime online at sportsbusinessnow.com or on Twitter at SBNow. We'll see you next time.
SBN, Sports Business Now.